That means it's the Saskatchewan 38 and a bit. I don't want to start doing the math, but we'll just let the guys bring the chains out and tell us exactly what's up.
And Blair is still down. They're going to have to measure around him here.
That's kind of cold. They should probably wait.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Here's another look at the play.
See, this is just a quick hitch. Just turn quick to the outside. You know you only got 3 to go. And now it's a matter of trying to get it in second effort. Todd McMillan throwing his body in there, and Blair turns the corner and gets up in there, and it's Kelly Malvo who comes over the top and hits him, and that's why he's still down.
Well, there's a good sight. He's looking a little dizzy, isn't he?
He's woozy, yeah, and that's what it is. They're just making sure that he was lying on the turf. As soon as he sat up, looked like he felt a little dizzy, kind of wobbly.
Now, we told you earlier, he's really got a kind of a plugged head right now. He's got the flu, and he did not feel good when I spoke to him before this ball game.
Well, he'll feel good, even though he probably doesn't know it right now.
Yeah.
But he did get the first down.
They got the first down. Blair sits down, 4 catches for 50 yards in this ball game. And the Lions move the chains. From the Riders 39, there's the handoff to Drummond. And he's close to another first down right off the bat.
You see him run the football? Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. We saw a couple of blocks that he made. So far, he's executed his assignment perfectly since fumbling that football. Now watch this good run up the middle.
Now remember, Sean Millington had 225 yards against this very same defense last week. I'm surprised. Are you surprised that maybe they haven't run the ball a little bit more?
Well, last week it was a little bit of a defensive lineup. Yeah, I am a little surprised, but you have to keep in mind they've been down now since midway through the first half. So they got to throw it a little bit more. But this is a different defensive lineup now with Michael Lawson in the middle of it and not Rich Young. So it changes things a little bit for BC.
So again, the Lions are deep in Rider territory, but they have not been able to punch the ball in. Other than the one pass to Blair. Allen's loose. David Allen inside the 10.
Well, Joe Powell hates to see this play. I mean, he loves the first down, don't get me wrong, but he hates to see his starting quarterback, get hit like that. But you know what? A play like that from Damon Allen will be just what the BC Lions need to get them fired up. Because Damon Allen says, all right, if we need to get going, then I'm the guy that needs to get us going. So I'm going to take off and run aggressively, take a hit, and get us down there in scoring range.
He ran for 19 yards on that play. First and goal. Bomadeli Ali came in on the pass rush on that play. You saw the flag on the play. And Allen's lost his helmet. Bomadeli Ali, the rookie out of Kentucky.
Major foul. Piling on. Saskatchewan 98. First down.
I said Arkel Truluk. I think it was Bomadeli Ali, because Truluk's saying it wasn't me. Look at the screen.
Either way, it's a costly penalty.
Thing is, see, Truluk, he was pointing to the screen, and then the screen showed the replay, and it actually was Truluk. See 98? See there? He's late. He jumps on the pile.
No,
not really a vicious one, but it was late. So when he looked at the replay, he said, okay, it was me. Sorry.
So it's first down again. Allen hands off to Drummond. Robert Drummond's got the touchdown.
Great players make mistakes. The great ones make amends.
And he made that one look easy.
That dance doesn't look easy. You need a choreographer for that. Choreographer. I'm sorry, choreograph the, whatever.
Yeah,
great touchdown.
Let's stick to football there, my friend.
Choreographer. That's it.
There you go.
I got it.
Bottom line is, with this extra point, the Lions have crept back into this ball game. Whoa, wait a second. Spoke too soon. Bad snap. Kahari Jones couldn't put it down. Oh boy. So the Riders still have the lead by 1. Here's a look at what happened. It was either a bad snap or Kahari Jones just dropped it.
Well, the snap came kind of high and inside. It looked a little hot too, but it was in both hands. You know, and no one talks about the holder, Kahari Jones, unless he does this. You know, until you drop the football, that's when everyone says, well, what's wrong with the holder? That takes nothing away from the fact that the Lions are back in to within a point because Robert Drummond untouched into the end zone the play before.
Yeah, Robert Drummond, they didn't really use him a whole lot down the field as we thought they may, but they used him as a decoy, as you pointed out, and he put the exclamation point on that drive. And the Lions, who were down 17-0 in the first half, have crept back within one, but Greg Mons wanted that single point. He wanted to be all square again. Boy, you take that single point sometimes for granted, you know?
Well, yeah.
And the way things are going for the BC Lions tonight, you know, who knows, that point could end up being huge.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
It's an automatic play, and that's why, you know, there's frustration over there, because you never ever think about the extra point. That's the one in the bank.
Well, you say it's an automatic play, so maybe that's a sign that these guys are a little tight. I don't think there's any question.
Well, they, you know, in the first half, they looked flat to me. I mean, they just looked flat.
Curtis Mayfield, he's got a touchdown in this ball game. Heading to his right, little move, gets across the 30. Nice return by number 89, Mayfield. Here's a look at the scoring drive, brought to you by Buck a Call.
And when you're starting to put 9-play drives together, you're starting to get it done. Third down gamble paid off. Don Blair was the guy who got dinged. He got the first down for him, kept the drive alive, and Robert Drummond capped it off with that 5-yard run, and Greg Mons is back in it within a point.
With the win tonight, the BC Lions would not only clinch first place in the West, they would also tie their club record for wins in a single season with 13. Little pass back to Mayfield. He's going to throw, and he's throwing into a crowd. That one didn't have much of a chance. There was double coverage on Reggie Jones. Not a bad spiral, though, by Curtis Mayfield.
Well, you could tell Curtis Mayfield when he took the toss, he was going way deeper than he usually does on a reverse. That's the dead giveaway. And surprisingly, Scott Thomas was not fooled, not because he's not a good football player, only because he's a rookie. You know, and usually it's the rookies that you can pull up in a play like that, but not Scott Thomas. He's over there and knocked out away. The left-hander can't get quite enough on it.
The lefty. So it's 2nd and 10. Another trick play. We've talked about those. Sarkisian out of the shotgun. The pocket's collapsing. He gets out of there, but not in time. Herman Smith, who's been in that backfield all night long.
Coverage sack. That's a coverage sack. Because Steve Sarkisian had time. You know, and he can't do it all. So here he is. He's got the football. He's got lots of time. He's got a throwing lane. Look at that. He's got lanes to throw the football in. But no one is open. And rather than throw an interception, he takes the sack, which is a wise move. But sometimes you get good pressure. Sometimes you get good coverage. You got to work together on defense, and this time it's coverage.
There was a very short period there in the second quarter where the Riders seemed to be moving the ball offensively. Cunningham bobbles another one. You talk about a guy who's really not having his best game. He's been razor sharp for most of the season. There's a look at the sack totals.
Herman Smith gets the sack, but he got some help from his smaller friends that are behind him.
Holding, BC 33. First down.
Hey, Herman Smith gets the sack, but look at the coverage downfield. Pretty good right there. We got double coverage right in there. You got two guys, two black shirts right there. And really, no one open for Steve Sarkisian to throw to. Herman Smith says, thanks, guys. I'll take that. I'll take the sack. You guys just keep covering like that. Give me a couple extra seconds to get home, and I'll pad my stats a little bit.
Yeah, he came in with 5 sacks. Adds to his total there. Mike Moore is down on the field. We'll take a quick injury timeout on Adidas Friday Night Football. Of the BC Lions helmets, they are all wearing a checkered flag with the number 99 on it in tribute to Greg Moore, the Maple Ridge native who was killed last weekend down in California. It's been a tough weekend, a week across the country, but it's been particularly tough here in the Vancouver area where Greg was always around and had such a positive impact on so many people. David Benefield was at the memorial service on Wednesday.
Yeah, really tragic accident. And of course, all our thoughts are with the Moore family right now. The memorial was yesterday for the public out in Maple Ridge. Over 3,000 people there to pay their last respects. And, you know, Dave, you and I both had a chance to meet and talk with Greg Moore many times, and he was just a real great guy, a real person, down-to-earth person. Never forgot where he came from, and it's been a sad week in this area.
Mike Moore is up and off the field, so the Lions are ready to go back to work. Don Blair is on his feet, by the way, as well. 1st and 10 from their own 26. And here's Allen with his receiver spread over the middle. There's Don Blair for our 1st down. Looks okay to me.
Well, see, this is the key too, because Don Blair got hit in the head, and that's why he went out. He was woozy and wobbly, but this is a play that he had to think to get open. See, sometimes you just have to use your ability. Sometimes you have to think. See, he saw the zone, and then he just settled in the middle of that zone.
The Lions are starting to take what that defense is giving them, and they're taking it all the way down the field. They've been driving the ball well in this 2nd half. Allen looking deep for Cunningham. Almost came up with a great catch, but tight coverage again by number 22, Kelly Malvo.
Well, you know what the Saskatchewan Roughriders are doing differently now than they did in the 1st half, and that's they're playing more conservatively on defense. In the 1st half, we saw a ton of halfback blitzes from Shannon Garrett and Kelly Malvo, and they were both coming off the edge. And then we saw Vincent Donaldson involved in a bunch of blitzes that created some turnovers. Now they're playing more zone and dropping off.
2nd and 10. Allen's got Cunningham this time. That is going to be well short of a 1st down, despite the fact it was a pretty good grab as he went up and got it. Brought down by number 94, Stephen Connolly.
Well, it was a pretty tough catch in traffic. It was just way short of the 1st down, and Connolly, who usually is rushing the quarterback, will also play a little linebacker just to mix things up, and makes a pretty good tackle in the open field, because that's not an easy guy to tackle in the open field.
1:21 to go in the 3rd quarter. Lou is punting it away to Mayfield. Not much of a return right there. Be sure to stick around after the game for our TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Super 8. Glenn Suter, our crew downstairs, everybody is starting to think about what that will be.
I can't stay here another minute.
Not what you need to hear. Then Super 8's where you need to stay. As clean as can be, 1,800 times over. Clean, friendly Super 8. All the room you want.
The Riders would like a turning point here as momentum has started to swing in favor of the BC Lions. There's a fumble. Who's got it? They are fighting for it down there. Zarka was the ball carrier.
These piles are great. This is a great play in football. The ball's on the ground.
Looks like Saskatchewan retained possession.
There's 10 guys. There's about 2 tons of bodies down there lying on it, and the ref is trying to figure out who's got the football.
I've never been able to figure out how they determine.
It's amazing how they figure it out. They gotta crawl down to the bottom of the pile to see where the ball is.
They're still scrapping for it. 2nd and 4. Little early movement. The flag was down. Herman Smith jumped on the play. I think you're going to see that he was drawn offside.
Yeah, was he drawn or was he offside?
Offside. BC. 1st down.
So the Riders get a 1st down out of the deal. Their first down of this half. And with 6 seconds to go, this will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. We got a ball game here. We told you the BC Lions don't do things the easy way. And Saskatchewan is coming here and put up a fight. Here's Sarkisian. Going into the air, looking for Mayfield, and he had it and dropped it. He was inside the coverage, and he dropped it, and he knows it.
Well, two guys dropped it. Raphael Ball had a chance at it. He dropped it, and then Mayfield dropped it.
So that does it for the third quarter. It's 17-16. Riders over the Lions on Adidas Friday Night Football. Let's send you back to CFL Control.
You're watching the CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by Toyota Canada and its dealers.
Well, the Lions certainly played with more emotion in that third quarter, but they're very fortunate that this was Saskatchewan, because if they'd played this way against, say, Hamilton last week with 4 turnovers, it would be 40-16, not 17-16. So they're fortunate in that way, and they are showing a lot of emotion, Chris, but still too many mistakes.
Way too many mistakes, and the big one was Robert Drummond fumbling on the goal line, but still, talk about turning a negative into a positive. We see the play develop. We see Robert Drummond. This is a second effort issue. Here he goes for the extra yardage. There's the fumble. It's returned by Saskatchewan. But look at the genuine response to a personal mistake. He knows he makes that mistake. His focus increased, and now, a few plays later, there goes Robert Drummond around the corner for a touchdown. I like that. This game has to have a nice level of controlled rage, and I saw that in Robert Drummond, and the other players pick up on it, and that's one of the reasons we got a tight game, Matty.
Well, you're right, Chris, and I don't know if it's controlled rage, it's passion, it's heart, it's desire, it's
intensity,
and loving what you're doing out there, playing a game like it's supposed to be played, and that's what we saw BC do in the third quarter. If they continue that, the game is theirs.
Drummond's face there kind of reminded me of Schulte when he doesn't get enough time to talk at the halftime. Lions' fourth quarter has been their strongest all season long. They've outscored their opponents by 46 points. Saskatchewan has been outscored by 54. Advantage Lions.
Advantage Lions on paper, but we looked at a lot of paper going into this game, Glenn, and it's all been ripped up to this point in the ball game.
Yeah, well, this part here looks like we thought it would be with them dominating it, but those 4 turnovers have really balanced it out, and I think that's what the guys back in Toronto were talking about.
No question. And Saskatchewan's inability to capitalize on those turnovers has obviously hurt them as well. So we begin the fourth quarter. 15 minutes to go for the Riders to either end their season with a much-needed and long-awaited win, or the Lions will take first in the West. Sarkisian over the middle, batted down by Raphael Robinson. He was looking for Don Narcisse. Nice play by the wrecker, number 22.
Well, Don Narcisse is trying to find a hole and see how he's going to try and gear it down. But this ball took so long to get there. Well, and then he sees the hit coming, so he thinks he's got to turn into a defensive back in some ways. But if Steve Sarkisian throws that ball on time down the seam to Curtis Mayfield, he may be still running.
Steve Sarkisian has no interceptions in this ball game so far. However, he has no completions in this half so far. McCallum punts it away. There's Cunningham. Eludes the first tackler, but he's met by a few more. We've just begun the fourth quarter. It's a close one. Don't you go anywhere. Well, we've got 3 ball games for you this weekend. We're in the fourth quarter of this one. Tomorrow, the Calgary Stampeders hope they'll have something to play for. If this keeps up, they will. And then the Edmonton Eskimos need a win to get into the postseason. Glenn Suter, you'll be with John Wells for that one. That'll be a big one at Skydome, but we've got a big one right here. It's been 12 years since the Lions have won the West. And they've got 14 minutes here to get it done. That pass did not get it done.
Well, Damon Allen bounced that one. It's a good thing he did for the BC Lions, and Greg Mons or Douglas Kraft has taken that the other way. He ran the pattern that time for Rocky Henry.
Damon Allen has passed the 300-yard mark for passing, but only 16 points on the board to show for it. Second down from his own 24-yard line. Pulls that one down. He's going to run, and he's got a lot of room. Damon Allen over the 45, close to the 50.
Saskatchewan defense went back to what they did in the first half, and this time they got caught. Watch Willie Pless here. Linebackers are coming. See, they're sneaking up to the line of scrimmage, and here comes the blitz. And all Damon Allen needs is one little seam, and there it is. It opens up, he takes off, and there's no one but the secondary back there to stop him.
Gain of 23. The handoff was faked to Drummond. Allen spins away, but doesn't get much further as Neil Smith had him all wrapped up.
Well, I can't emphasize enough the importance of the play that Neil Smith just made. I mean, really. I mean, Neil Smith was in space with Damon Allen.
Yeah. Not a good place to be when you are a rookie in the CFL.
First of all, he didn't buy the play action and go down with Drummond on the play action, and then one-on-one with Damon Allen with lots of field on either side, and he got him down.
But it was a loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13 from their own 44 out of the shotgun. Pump fake, goes long down the sidelines. Don Blair's got it to the Saskatchewan 35-yard line.
Well, talk about a matchup that would make a quarterback's eyes just bulge out of his head. He looks up, Damon Allen looks to his left, and when he looks to his right, he sees Don Blair running on Steve Connolly. And he goes, oh, that's where I'm going with the football. No question about that.
Connolly may be an athlete. He was a track star, but you're right. That's a mismatch in pass coverage. 1st and 10 from the Riders 36. Here's the Jet. A little swing pass to Cunningham. He's wrapped up about halfway home to a 1st down.
Yeah, it's a mismatch. Don Blair, obviously, but in fairness to Steve Connolly, he thinks he's going to get help over top from one of the defensive backs. So Don Blair beats him to the outside. He's one-on-one with the linebacker and putting together a real good night tonight. He makes that catch, but Connolly's looking for some help deep.
Allen rolls out. He's got Rod Harris, who's close to the 1st down. He's got it.
Rod Harris almost turned around and came back and lost 1st down yardage. You know, and again, we're seeing Damon Allen, like he did to end the 1st half, is now in the 2nd half running the hurry-up offense. Rod Harris is limping a little bit and might have to go take a break. Brett Anderson comes in the game.
I said he got the 1st down. He must be close. They've got to measure it.
Well, he almost lost it. He caught the ball, turned around. He almost lost a couple of yards and would have lost the 1st down. He got just enough of it.
But Mons will not be satisfied until he sees that thing in the end zone. They've got touchdowns, 1 in the air, 1 along the ground. They need 1 here. Allen to Brett Anderson. And that is Anderson's 1st reception of the season. He's handled all the kickoff duties.
And something that's happened to this Saskatchewan defense throughout the year is that their defensive line, as the game wears on, because they're smaller.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Saskatchewan 53.
Oh boy.
1st down.
Jay Mirabrook's going to get that late hit, but watch the protection. See, this defensive line in Saskatchewan's the 4th quarter now. They're starting to wear down. See, Damon Allen has lots of time to throw the football, and then Mirabrook is the guy who's going to get hit. Watch Brett Anderson break to the out. There's Brett Anderson. Catches that ball in front of Vincent Donaldson.
Just taking what they're given. You add in the late hit, and they're inside the 10 with a 1st and goal to go.
If Damon Allen gets that kind of time, it's going to be a long quarter for Saskatchewan.
Look at the 1st downs, and you wonder who's leading this ball game. Allen to Drummond. And that's going to go for a big loss.
When your defensive line starts to wear down, what you do is you throw in some linebackers into the mix, and you try to get them to come up and help to get some pressure on it. And you're going to see him step up in the line right here. Willie Pless is going to step up in the gap. He's going to provide some pressure, and the right play called, but Shannon Garrett makes a good tackle in the open field.
A loss of 5 on that play. 2nd down. From the 13-yard line, Allen. Little pump fake, looking for Eddie Brown. Could not get him, but there's a flag on the play. Douglas Kraft.
See, Douglas Kraft had good coverage initially, but what he did is he kept bumping Eddie Brown across the middle.
Major foul, face mask. Saskatchewan 21. 1st down.
See, initially, Douglas Kraft, he has the right to his ground as long as he's facing the line of scrimmage. But you see, that was the end of the play, and he was still scrambling and grabbing at Eddie Brown as he went across the middle and really was impeding Eddie Brown's path to the middle of the field. You can't do that, but what you can do is jam him initially, and that's what Kraft did. He just did it for too long.
Well, those couple of plays have kept this drive alive. Otherwise, the Lions are kicking a field goal. But now they still have an opportunity to punch it into the end zone from the 6. First down, Allen. Little pitch to Drummond, looking for the outside. Drummond is met by 2 tacklers, including Todd McMillan and Arkel Trulak.
Well, Arkel Trulak showed a little bit of speed there to the outside. Overall, when you look at Arkel Trulak, and this is probably partly because of the expectations coming into this season, but he hasn't had a great year. I mean, they expected huge things out of Arkel Trulak, and coming into this game, 5 sacks on the season, they wanted a lot more out of him. He was the guy who replaced Bobby Jurison a year ago, but he showed some speed there, and he has the great athletic ability.
The 11th play of this drive. Once again, the Riders defense stepped up. Can they do it one more time? Allen. Into the end zone. Nobody's there. He had just thrown it away into the back of the end zone. So the Riders hold again. Allen had all kinds of pressure to deal with, and there was nobody open to dump it off to.
Pressure's going to come from down here at the bottom of your screen. Damon Allen can't find anyone to the play side. That's the side to his right that he was looking at first. Steve Connolly back there, along with Neil Smith, getting some pressure on Allen. He just decides to throw it away. We'll kick a field goal right from there.